We started 30-something years ago with a bunch of enthusiasts who really enjoyed Shelbys and Cobras. We really thought these were neat cars at a time when Shelby factory had been closed for several years. Ford was on to new projects, and these cars were just, I guess, languishing, and there were a group of people who really kind of got off on these cars. And somehow we were lucky enough to get together, and we formed this club. And the idea of forming this club is an enthusiast-based club. It's an enthusiast organization, and I just want to go through that with you tonight. In the beginning, we were very curious about the cars. The history was not known. We didn't know what production numbers there were. The factory was closed. All of the documents, we had no idea they existed, where they were, how many cars were made, what types, and what they had. And it was a lot of fun in the early days, going around and discovering new things about the cars, unearthing all of this wealth of information. And the years went on, and we were discovering more and more about the cars, unearthing more information. Parts had to be made. As I said, Ford was on to other projects. Parts didn't exist, so as a group we were able to get companies interested in our plight, and that we wanted to have parts made so we could restore our cars and drive them on the road and use them. And a strange thing happened. Along the way, along the road, we realized that not only were these cars pretty neat, but the people who were interested in them were very neat. And the cars were exciting, but you know what? The people who shared the hobby with us were just as exciting. And somewhere along this journey, and I don't know exactly when it happened, I personally was looking more forward to meeting my friends at a convention than seeing the neat cars. And we had become a family. And we're enthusiast-driven. It's enthusiasts who run this club, it's enthusiasts who finance this club, and it's enthusiasts who enjoy this club. And that's opposed to other types of clubs which are successful, they have members who are happy, they go out and enjoy themselves and do other things, but we stayed away from any major sponsorships by any company. We wanted to remain an enthusiast organization with enthusiasts as members, financed by the membership, because we thought that if we tried to attract any major sponsors, that then we would no longer be independent. Because if someone writes you a big check, then they have some control over you, and you've kind of lost your roots or your purpose. And also, as an enthusiast organization, people stepped forward and they started pitching in and volunteering, and they wanted to get involved in helping their club, I guess, go forward, expand, become better. So as you see a convention like this, it's all run by volunteers. We're an enthusiast organization. We can't afford a staff. We can't afford the expenses that a regular company can afford. And we depend very heavily upon volunteers to do their thing, and we wouldn't exist. There's no way that Saac could ever do what it does without and I'd have to say we have over 100 volunteers throughout the year who give their talent, their time, their effort. I mean, just as an example, to get the registries in the mail last week, we had Rick organized a party at his house, and I would say, a dozen or 2 dozen of us were there mailing the books. We couldn't afford to hire a company to mail the books. But that's what type of club we are. We all chip in and we help one another, and that's our strength, that we're family. We've grown up together. I mean, we've been in existence 33 years, and I've seen many of our members. I run registration. I've seen them come through. They've grown up. I mean, we were all in our 30s when we started this. They've gotten married, they've had children, they've had now grandchildren. They've had tragedies as life serves out, but I mean, we've just seen everybody throughout the years, for 33 years, go through life and we're all friends. And I see it now. Everybody, when they come through registration or they're in the convention, they can't wait to see their friends that they've met and they've made, and we're looking forward to making new friends. So that's the strength of the club. The weakness of the club is that we're just financially running from hand to mouth. It doesn't take, I guess, a business genius to figure out that we have between 5,000 and 6,000 members, so that's maybe $250,000. We're lucky if we make $5,000 a year on merchandise profit. And we have very few corporate sponsors who do contribute some. And so that's our total budget. The conventions used to be moneymakers for the club. And we've held the cost of the conventions to the members down throughout the years. Whereas in every 3 or 4 years, the cost of putting on a convention has doubled. I remember our first conventions, we used to have a weekend at a track like this. We were one of the first clubs to do track events, and it would be, the total cost would be under $5,000 for the rental, the insurance, everything. And so the excess used to go into our treasury, and we used that to pay for our expenses for the rest of the year. Now, the conventions cost us well in excess of $100,000. And that's a huge, huge jump in cost. And in the last several years, we haven't been able to put anything into the treasury because of the costs of putting on a convention. And we still did not want to, I'd say, get into bed with a large sponsor, because a large sponsor would enable us to put on a big convention, but sponsors come and go. If you get dependent upon sponsorship money and you start having events and doing things that uses that money, what happens if that sponsor gets into trouble or changes its mind, or one of a million things could happen? Then we're very vulnerable. So our strength is that we're very independent, and we just do what we feel the members want, because we are, the club is the membership. And that's our strength. And that turned out to be our weakness when we got into the trouble that we got into, that you're all aware of. And I'm not going to go into what caused the problem, because it just doesn't make any sense to go over that. And I think a lot of us don't even know exactly what caused the problem, and I'm sure both sides were equally at blame. So this thing progressed, and I have to say, if it wasn't for the moral and the financial support of the membership, we couldn't have even gotten into the game. And you helped us stay in the game long enough for cooler heads to prevail, and we realized that we were going through our own sad version of the War of the Roses. And nobody wanted to see it end like the War of the Roses ended, because everyone would lose and no one was winning, other than, and I apologize for this, the lawyers. So cooler heads prevailed. Some members, some new people in the organization acted as intermediaries. We negotiated a settlement with Shelby. Amy and I talked at length a few times. And I thank her efforts, because if it wasn't for Amy, we wouldn't have a settlement. And now we're going to go forward. We have our club. We're going to continue on down the road, and we're not going to cry over spilt milk. You have to remember, this is a club. We're here to have fun. We're a family. The whole object and purpose of this club is to enjoy our hobby and have fun. And when you're embroiled in a situation like we were, it's no fun. And some people got turned off by that, and I don't blame them. I mean, if you have your hobby is supposed to be fun, and because sometimes your life is not fun. And so you have a hobby to take your mind off of things, and if here you are, if they're fighting and things are not pleasant, you're going to say, I'm taking up fly fishing. Maybe that will make me happy. And so we all suffered. And again, that's why we all reach an agreement, so we can all go forward. It's also very, very important that we attract new, younger people into this organization, or we're going to be like the Shakers. I'm serious. Think about that. So now that this is over, I think it's a wonderful time. I'm going to be 65 next year. I'm going to get Social Security. I'm going to retire. My national director position and my board position, and in my place is going to be Marissa Carson. And she's going to be national director, and she's going to be a board member. And she's about the same age now that I was when I co-founded the club. And there are a lot of issues facing this club. But we need new, younger faces with new ideas to take us forward to attract the younger people. Or again, we're going to have a wheelchair convention in 5 years. And I don't really want to do that. So Marissa, her first convention, I think, was Saac 13 in Charlotte. She started working in registration. So she's been doing it for many years. Last year, she moved up the food chain, and we gave her out at the Salt Lake City Miller Motorsports. She had complete control of the second track. And she organized and managed that whole operation all by herself. And I have to tell you, we never received more compliments than we did about her performance. This year, she accepted the responsibility of organizing the whole inside of this track, because quite frankly, the last few years, the inside of the track looked like a dog's breakfast. It was just chaos, and we said that it had to be organized. So Marissa and her fiance Jason undertook the project of organizing the inside of the track, and I think it worked very well. So she is a Wharton graduate, so she knows business, and she's currently an executive at Tiffany in New York. So we might even have a new jewelry line for the club. I don't know. Maybe that'll bring the women back into the organization. And Marissa, would you stand up and say a few words?
Evening, everyone. Yeah, sorry, I'm the tall one. Well, it's a pleasure to speak in front of all of you. I think I've met every single one of you, at least if not this year, then in years past. And I think today I've probably inhaled all of your fumes out front. For those of you who may not recognize me, I was the one out at the gate, hat on, sunglasses on, probably covered with a little bit of dust and dirt out there. But I just wanted to say thank you all very much for this incredible opportunity. I feel absolutely honored and privileged to walk in Ken's footsteps. And for all you club members, I have learned so much and feel that I am ready to take this club to the next level. And for the next 33 years at least, I'm going to do I'm praying that I do at least as an incredible job as both of these two men up here, Ken and Rick, have done. It's been an amazing experience, and I've loved every minute since that first Charlotte when I'm running around taking all your money. But it has been an incredible experience, and I look forward to working with every single one of you. And anything that we can do, any recommendations you have, I would absolutely love to take those on. And the board is just an incredible, amazing group of people. And these volunteers that I have worked from and learned from, you are all absolutely amazing. And I only hope that we can grow that volunteer group and this next generation. We had a couple of, Ken Young's son came back today, and there were a couple of others. I really hope all of you who are interested, come on in. We would love your help, and you can help me cheer everyone on and put on that smiley face and become another Saac cheerleader. So thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm not a great speaker, and I know how much you all love those big, long speeches, so I'm going to leave it up to the pros here to do it. But thank you all for your support, and I really look forward to working with all of you. Thank
you. That was Marissa, that was an excellent talk. I remember 33 years ago, Ken Ebert broke down and cried too. For those of you who haven't had the opportunity for me to meet you, my name is Rick Kopek, and I've been hanging around this club for about 33 years. Now, during that time, I've had the unique opportunity to learn a great deal about these cars and their history, but that wasn't my purpose in involving myself with this club. It just sort of happened. And I think it sort of happened with just about everybody here. Nobody starts out to learn all this stuff. And they say that life is a journey, it's not the destination. And this has been an incredible journey. Now, before I go much farther, I wanted to acknowledge all the volunteers, because we've talked about them. The list of volunteers has gotten so long that I guarantee if I named everybody, people would be falling asleep in their chairs. So I'd just like everybody from the board of directors to the people that worked at Tech, the open track, the car shows, everybody please stand up so you can see how many that there are, how many people it takes to put on an event like this. I have a short administrative announcement.